Welcome, everybody, to episode 233 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your host, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. And it's just us this week.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing any randoms in. We're not having any guests. It's just back to us.
Which is nice.
It is. It is.
It's good to have some guests on.
I felt like I hijacked the whole pod for that three-parter, and that's why I had to put the bonus episode up. So
I wasn't going to say anything, but you kind of did.
I did. It was like I hijacked it for a three-part series.
I mean, you do realize it costs us per minute to put stuff up, right? Like, who's paying for this? And you just, what was your last episode? An hour and 45?
Hour 45. It was a long one.
I wasn't going to say anything, but now you've brought it up.
It's a good listen, though.
You're costing us money, mate.
Oh, look, I don't know.
We're going to need more sponsorship.
We'll need more people to click links and...
We need you to get out in the street to shake a can asking for more money for for minutes on the... Yeah. What a prop that was. Fantastic. What was that, chewing gum in a container?
Yeah, it's like just breath mints.
Yeah, nice.
Rattle them up. Oh, goodness. All right.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all very well today. And to all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. We are recording on Sunday, which would be Father's Day. I had a wonderful day. Breakfast in bed, which was Fruit Loops and a piece of bread that they called toast. One half had Vegemite on it and one half had a very thick layer of butter on it. I was kind of like, I scrape the butter off to kind of like save my heart?
Fold it.
No, it was presented
to me it
was presented to me in two pieces, and it was explained to me I need to eat one first and then the other.
Oh,
it was interesting.
At least they were both kind of savory rather than like jam or like chockers with Nutella and Vegemite, and figure out which is which.
I kind of feel like you remember these breakfasts more than actually a good breakfast. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Fruit Loops, that's gourmet, man.
It's almost like a trauma bond, but.
No, I had a really good day, and the kids went to a lot of effort. It was fun.
That's awesome.
All right, let's start talking about last week. So last week we had Oyvind on. Again, thank you, Oyvind, for coming on. It's not easy jumping onto an established pod and also with two other guys, so you did really well, mate. One thing I just wanted to mention in terms of fact-checking from last week, we did a story about PSA Vault sending people automatic offers, and I was trying to link to it how that you can buy things off eBay, send it to the PSA Vault, and then PSA can make you offers on those. But I think I had eBay on my mind or on my brain, and I said it was eBay doing the offers. But yeah, just to fact check that, it's actually PSA that's doing the buying.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And then working with the repackers. So
they grade it and then make an
offer.
You
and Oyvind didn't pull me up though, so it makes me wonder if you guys actually listened to me like crapping on you.
I might have just tuned out at that point.
It's very possible. No. Anyway, all right, that's last week. That's done and dusted. Let's move on to this week. This week we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark, Kawhi Leonard. I found some really cool all-time cards. PJ Washington got extended this week. We're going to do a pulse of the hobby. I've got a subheading. I was going to
say we've got our medical equipment out. We're going to check the pulse of the hobby.
Yeah, look, realistically, that actually might get us to an hour. If we do get past that, we've got Ben Simmons, Rodman, KD versus Tatum, some pop counts. Actually, that's a really good one, that pop counts one. We might even do that next week and break it down properly.
Nice.
And of course, we've got a Jordan to close. So let's get started. Caitlin Clark, unfortunately, has been announced out for the rest of the year with a groin injury. I couldn't find anything like with, really rock hard evidence about this.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like it's kind of one of those injuries where you're better off to shut it down early instead of risking it. Maybe then it gets worse. I don't think this is like an ACL or, something terrible like that where it is, going to be a 12-month injury. It seems to be more precautionary, but also at the same time too, I couldn't find a whole bunch of information on this. This was not reported by Centel, by the way. It was reported by ESPN. The source that I had on that. So I kind of feel like after all of the hype that we've had in the last 12 months with Caitlin Clark, I think this is a really good time to sort of take a breath.
Yeah.
Let's go through some Caitlin Clark purchases. Let's go through some of her, her really big cards, because obviously she's got all the Prism stuff, which is out, which has done fantastically. And then she's had all their autograph subsets, and then they did that extremely high-end product that was selling for like it's insane. It was selling for $30,000 a box.
Yeah.
So that had the Flawless in it, that had the Downtowns, that had the Kabooms in it. So let's just sort of work our way through that a little bit. And this also might be one of the stories where we check back on this in a month and then 2 months and sort of just keep doing a price check on Caitlin Clark because, I think for context on this, like she's outselling NBA players at the moment. So her silver PSA 10, which is the one where it's the action shot, she's spotting up to shoot like a corner 3-pointer, it looks like to me. That's currently trading at 2,400. The all-time high on that was $5,000. Like we're not talking.
Yeah, this isn't like small. This is not small cards.
Yeah. So the last time that it sold for for 5,000 was in June of 25. So really, that's not that long ago at all. And there's been two sales.
A couple of months ago. Yeah.
There's been 2 sales at that. If you zoom in, so I'm currently looking at the all-time. If you zoom into the last 3 months, it's actually already down 30%, and that's pre her having her injury. So
that just performance-wise, is that just like?
So I think for me, that's more of a cycle issue where everything's really hot at the start. People are buying them up. There's a bit of trading going on. Look, there's been a few sales on these. It's not as many sales as you would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to that other than people were buying them because it was really hot and they've moved on to the next thing, which is what flippers do.
Yeah.
So if she's down 30% in the last 3 months, let's project on this. I think this could be $1,000 card easily by the time she comes back.
Yeah.
And so that's really interesting to me because these are kind of the things you wait for sometimes and you take that opportunity and jump back in.
I have a question with regards to, obviously, it's just a season that's over. It's not necessarily a career-ending injury.
Definitely not. Absolutely, definitely not.
Is there anybody waiting in the wings, so to speak, with the with regards to holding up the WNBA? And that wasn't a sneaky way to reference Paige. Is it Buchers? Is that
I
how
get
you
what you're
pronounce her
saying.
surname?
Yeah.
Well, she's this year's number 1 draft pick, right?
I get what you're saying 100%. Like, who are people going to tune in and watch to that now Caitlin Clark's at? Like, I think if we're being realistic, I think a lot of the media deal that they got, all the increased ticket sales they had, particularly when it's like Indiana Fever games that are selling out and they moved into bigger stadiums, like that's easy to direct correlate that to Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
I think like where I'm at with this, and we probably need someone to come on from our WNBA group that I've got sort of cookie in the background and sort of give a bit more insight. But from my very basic WNBA perspective, it's like, obviously she's the most popular, but in terms of like pure talent, the league losing one player isn't going to kill the whole league talent-wise because actually there's so much talent in that league.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's going to be the death of the league or anything like that. But if you're talking about clicks, I think, social media is going to go down. Yes, overall popularity online, I think, will go down. But then you've still got people like Angel Reese who, and I think she's a really funny one.
She's entertaining.
She's super entertaining and, she says some crazy stuff and, the way she plays out in the court, definitely draws some sort of, from some ire from, some online commentators, which I don't appreciate that, by the way. I'm not supporting that. I'm just more saying that it's there. But it's like, she's not that talented as Caitlin Clark. So that I find that one such a dynamic one. It's like,
for sure.
All right. Anyway, let's go back to Caitlin Clark and just break down a couple more cards before we, get too much off into a rabbit hole. The other one, the other easy one to talk about, obviously, is her finger up silver rookie card. So the population on that is just 19. This is currently trading at 1650. Okay, so this is a fun one. Why don't we just do a quick comp? Would you rather buy the finger up pointing one for $1,000? So I'm prospecting this is going to go down. Or would you rather buy the the more traditional one, which has a population of 50 on that for $1,000? And which is going to be the more popular one moving into the future?
The pointing up silver, or the other one? Well, the last sold on the silver, the pointing up is $1,650.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, what if it went down to $1,000?
If they were both on parity, I'd still go for I'd go for the OG one. I wouldn't go for the finger up.
What do you don't call the finger up
That's an alternate, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
that's the alternate. So I'd rather the one where she's actually catching and shooting.
The action shot, yeah.
I
think the finger up, were in my mind, I think that's a more iconic photograph though.
Because if you think that's an interesting one.
If you think about the Luka rookie card, like that was clearly a framed photo that they did. Like that wasn't a true action shot from a game, and that's a far more iconic card than any other sort of Luka card than I can think of off the top of my head.
I've got an interesting little counterpoint for you.
Yeah, hit me, man.
So the pointing up pulsar to $499 has dipped and is now $800. The pulsar to $499 normal rookie is $1,200. That's a numbered card.
You think that's a pocket of value?
It might be a pocket of value. You've got pop counts of 20 and 30 on this. Do you know what I mean? Like the silver, you don't know what the print run of the silver looks like. So pointing up all base, like I think that that numbered, even if it is to 499, it still gives sort of a limit. So it might actually have some hidden value for Caitlin Clark.
All right, we've got two more to talk about before we move on to our next topic. And I'm going to subheading this as people are going to get burnt. Okay, so this next one is Signatures Red Prism, number to 99 PSA 10. That sold for 5,400. And for a Prism autograph to go that high in the first place, like that to me that's absurd. Like just straight away.
Yeah.
Prism autograph should never go that high. If that gets resold in the future for $1,000, I will be shocked. If it goes for less than 1,000, I won't be surprised in that at all. So yeah, that's chaos. This is really interesting to talk to you about though. This is a National Treasures vertical RPA. Numbered to 5, so this is very low numbered. I will give you that. However, it did sell for $35,000 or $34,160. I just rounded it up. Look, I mean, maybe that's the type of thing that you purchase that for $35K. Okay, she's out for 12 months. That's fine.
Yeah,
you hang on to it for 2 or 3 years. You're never going to short flip that anyway. But at the same time, like that for me is, I think that's almost an instant money loser on that. You know, for that to. It's going to go down for them to come back and recover and sort of get your investment back. I think some of this stuff is going to be, I think a lot of people are going to get...
with danger?
I think a lot of people are going to get hurt on this stuff, honestly. I think that's just really tricky. So her downtown PSA 10 sold for 11,000 ad. Like that's... I mean, that's just like the classic getting caught up in the hype train. We should have done this before she got injured.
Yeah, I think it's it's an interesting one, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have concerns
Final
about
thoughts.
the hype. I have a concern about the hype train that is the WNBA, and I think that we need more drivers on that train.
Yeah, okay. So we can actually let's talk about one more WNBA card that I did find. I thought I'd chuck this in here. Speaking of our girl Angel Reese before, this is the 1-of-1 Kaboom, which is the beautiful green. That's sold for 32,000.
That's some serious value in the hobby, though.
I think it's overall good for the hobby. Like, I think that's a very, overall healthy thing. I actually don't have a problem with this, just for the fact that it's a rookie card. It's a 1-of-1, and it's one of those cards that people chase. I think my only problem with this, it's WNBA. Like, being perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I think if that was Caitlin Clark, that's different again. She's the one who you would definitely be chasing for. But, I think Reese is going to be real tricky because, like I was talking about talent before, it's like if she's washed out of the league in a couple of years, like once you sort of get past all that sort of bravado and stuff, like if she has an injury and loses the athleticism she's currently got, the WNBA chews people out, man. Like there's some of their careers can be like really short. So yeah, it's a tough league to stick around. All right. The next story we've got on the run sheet is Kawhi Leonard. Do we just introduce this and go to a break? We're already up to 15 minutes, man.
We can just go. We just have a break and then we'll
come back started. And we'll do Kawhi Leonard. Yeah.
I've got to go to my second job, so I'm just going to quickly do that while we'll go to the break, and then I don't have to go. I was kidding. I don't have to go. It's in the contract. I don't have to go to the job. That
joke will make more sense when we come back after this commercial break. Thank you to our friends at ussportscardsaustralia.com.au for your ongoing love and support of our podcast. We appreciate you. Go to ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. Yeah, there you will find sports breaks. Check out my Cards Australia. Lots and lots of singles that Ross has got for sale. Collectible protection, hobby boxes, sports memorabilia, and of course some toys. Ross's massive project, as you will know if you have been listening to the pod the last couple of months, is he's Check Out My Cards Australia. He's currently working on a breakaway site for that. However, for all of our listeners on You Can't Comp This NBA podcast, when you're completing your submission form, just write on there, anywhere on the submission form, You Can't Comp This, and you'll get a free submission, which will save you 9 cents per card on your submission fee. So thanks again, guys, for your ongoing love and support. We appreciate you, and we will be right back. And we are back. I thought you were trying to tell me you wanted to go for a wee-wee.
That's
what I thought you were trying to say.
No.
See, I'm used to having kids too much, man. I thought you were trying to make a subtle,
you know, it'd be funny.
Yeah,
if the first ad break was like fast break trading cards, and we're like, yeah, they've given me a job. I don't have to turn up. So.
All right. So, yeah, at this point in time, this is all pure conjecture.
There's a lot of speculation, There's
a lot of dot joining. So none of this has officially been released by the NBA. So until they do their investigation and release results, all this is pure conjecture.
Yes.
Now, the actual nuts and bolts of this is really easy to understand, but the actual true details of it, I will try my best to explain it to you and to the audience.
Mhm.
And if I get something wrong, I'm not going to be surprised. And please don't hold it against me. If I do get something wrong, just tell me via DM or on the post on the website this week, and
Yeah, it'll be fine.
we'll
It'll be
break it
fine.
down again. All right.
We
So the
can we
easy
can, we
nuts
can
and
make
bolts of this.
we can make corrections next week. It'll be
A company goes broke. In the bankruptcy filings, it has all of the list of directors that were there. Steve Ballmer's name is there. A strange subsidiary, which is KL2. Listed under that list of directors, under the KL2 company, is Kawhi Leonard. So you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work this out. KL being his initials and number 2 being his uniform. So they didn't even try and hide it. So clearly, there's no true sort of like conspiracy in that type of sense.
Yeah.
And it was a company that basically offered carbon offset and ways for companies to, provide clean services to the industry, right? Yeah. So his contract was for $28 million plus another $20 million. And it was a no-show contract. So you can get paid without actually attending, this work. And so what people have now joined these dots together and said was actually it was salary for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yep.
And it was money that was given under the table. So for reference point of this and how this is important is because so if we rewind back the clock to when the Minnesota Timberwolves got caught for this, and this is in my era.
Yeah,
so this is my recollection of this team was it was Kevin Garnett, it was Joe Smith, they had Sam Cassell, they had Latrell Sprewell. And as a result of them getting penalized and all the fines, they couldn't sort of retool their team enough, and then ended up KG got traded to Boston, where he then went on to win a championship. So, there are ramifications for this to happen. So the Minnesota Timberwolves penalties was 5 first-round picks, a $3.5 million fine. And I kind of feel like in the time period that was, the equivalent these days of that will be like $20 million. Like the way that money's being currently indexed, and also the more money that's being put into the NBA, I just kind of feel like that's a more, maybe relevant comp.
Yeah.
So Joe Smith, his most recent contract was voided and his bird rights were stripped away. So my recollection of the Joe Smith thing was like they signed him away from Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
And there was rules at the time that like if you had bird rights with the team, you could sign them over the cap space. And so what they did was they signed him to 3 one-year deals with the promise that on that 4th year, they would like make him whole and pay him back like basically a max contract. So that's what that's talking about. The owner was suspended, and Kevin McHale, who was the general manager at the time, had to take a leave of absence. And I kind of remember this too a little bit too. Like they were saying that, they were both suspended, but they were still communicating with like, other members of the board or whatever. So that was 25 years ago. Yeah. So that thing about me saying $20 million, maybe it's going to be 35 million. Like realistically, like things have 10x'd in the last 25 years.
That's true. Although I've got a point from the live chat. James Mans just said Kawhi does carbon offset by not playing most of the season.
I mean, the funny joke to sort of like add to that is like they were already overpaying this guy, paying him a max salary.
Does he realize that his NBA contract isn't the one where he doesn't have to show up to? Is it? Maybe he just get confused. He's a simple man.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
Yeah, it's just wild. Anyway, okay, so this is the part where I'm going to get wrong. So basically, this company that he was tied to, Aspire, they sponsored the LA Clippers.
Yes.
And Ballmer owned a part of this company. So it was like he was sponsoring himself in some sort of weird way.
Yep.
And then it turned out actually the company wasn't delivering any services to anyone. And they were just collecting all these, investors' money and people who wanted to, buy in. And then, nothing was delivered and the money just vanished into the thin air. So there was this whole sort of thing around, Ballmer got ripped off. The Clippers got ripped off. Who knows if Kawhi Leonard got paid or not out of, after all this, like if all the money just disappeared, who knows? So it's a really interesting one. Look, I think at this point in time, we can talk more about this and I think we should. But at the same time, I also feel like too, we can talk about this next week, and we might very well have, very different
Updates.
information about it. Yeah. I also think too, the person who broke this story is very, very biased. So I think it's called Pablo Torres who broke the story. Like, listen to what he's got to say, but I would also say too, like, read the stuff that Mark Cuban put up, because he responded to it.
Yeah.
Barmer said some stuff, very lightly about this too. Kevin O'Connor was on the same team as Torres was. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's just too early to pick a side on this.
Mark Cuban's trying to play the big, busy business owner, isn't going to get mixed up in the minor details. Do you know what I mean? Like, Cuban, he's admitted there are things that happened in Dallas that he wasn't aware of. Like, you don't know about every dotting every I and crossing every T. That's what you've got it's what you've got a team for. Assistants, executives, etc. And I appreciate one big business guy going into bat for another. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of investigating, and I think there's probably a lot more to the story than meets the eye.
But I think, like, so if you read the Mark Cuban post, he sort of like lays it out a little bit, and I do agree with that. It's like, if you're trying to hide money from being, like, let's call it laundered, for lack of a better word. Why would you?
We go through this rubbish we've been through this rubbish in local sport, like in the AFL locally.
Well, I mean, look, I don't follow AFL at all, so like, you can tell an AFL story, and I'll just sort of say, like, I'll just say yes, but
it's like recruit a player, and it's like you get a sponsor and people that do follow AFL will know Visi paper. It's just like, well, they're the board of directors. One of the chairman is on the board at Visi and has given this guy some extra cash by giving him a promotional role, and it's a way to circumnavigate the salary cap.
Yeah, but hang on. Okay, so now that you brought that up, and I was actually just going to say to you, but how do you then differentiate between him getting money from Nike, which might be getting $50 million from them?
Is Barmer on the board at Nike?
Or Gatorade? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No,
like,
but
at the end of the day, like, what's actually the difference?
So the difference is Nike will use him. And what I mean by use him is they'll go, check out this fun guy and make a mockery of his laugh. Or they'll get him to wear some shoes and promote, and he'll have to go and sign some.
I was a bit slow on that, but yeah.
That's all right. But they'll actually... He will need to promote their products. That's what an endorsement deal is with a shoe company. That is promoting the Kawhi. Maybe it'll get done by Kathmandu or something, but they'll make gloves because
So there's enough of a conflict of interest here that you actually do think this is salary cap circumvention.
Yes, yeah. I think it's a load of crap, and he didn't show up to work, just like he doesn't show up to work on the court.
Yeah.
Obviously I've got my own biased view. He's a Clipper. So, but it's ways to give you a bit of extra money. He was very quick to decide when everyone thought he was going to the Lakers to go to the Clippers. Bit of extra incentive. It's just extra money in the pocket. And at the end of the day, this is a business. It's a financial advantage.
100%. Yeah.
Like, the shoe companies and the apparel companies seek these people out for endorsements. But that doesn't mean here's a contract, sign it, you just get money. Like,
I think, like,
we don't know about Grant Hill drinking Sprite because Sprite just gave him money. He had to go on television. He had to. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you sign an endorsement, you have to endorse a product.
Yeah. I think, like, for example, Nike, there are some clauses in their contracts where it's like, if you play in New York or you play in LA, you will get 20% more or 25% more. Like, I think, yeah. Yeah, okay. So listening to your perspective, I kind of get what you're saying on that.
But it's look, and until all the facts are out and everything's assessed, we don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not common practice.
You can't believe everything that's on the internet.
But it wouldn't be common practice. Go, hey, LeBron, you now have a job at this place, but you never have to show up and you never have to say you work there.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all.
Because that's not an endorsement deal. You can't endorse someone if you don't know they work there.
All right, let's talk some Kawhi Leonard cards. Sorry, before we move on to that, did you have anything else you wanted to say on this?
No, not really.
Fantastic. Because I feel like that actually we've covered. I think we've covered
the nuts and bolts of the issue.
So this is the 2012 Prism Silver. Population on this is just 47. I think this is kind of a fun comp, actually, almost to Caitlin Clark at this point in terms of value. Last sold for 3,159. This is considered to be his rookie card.
Which one's this? The 2012?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So this is an interesting one. There is very, very little data points on this. Like in the last 3 months, there's been 3 sales.
It's not it's actually up.
Which is, it's kind of curious, isn't it? I wonder if that's more about, yeah. Anyway, look. So overall, the highest sale of this has gone for 26,000. That was during COVID, of course it was. When he first came out, and he's in 2009. Well, this is when the data came out, I should say. At the earliest data, which was 2019, it was selling for like 1,400.
Yeah.
So it's currently trading, a lot more than. So if you had picked it up in 2019, you basically doubled your money.
Yeah, and look, I think it's a $2,000 card's pretty reasonable for the resume. Obviously, this will taint things, but I think about his Spurs and his Raptors period. That's this guy was put up as one of the greats.
Like, for me, this is a really tricky one because there's a part of me that says, so this fits into my equation of like the talent that he has is better than his card value, but at the same time, I really struggle with his popularity. I've just found another one. So this is his 2012 National Treasures. This is the one that's numbered to 199, the BGS 8.5. That sold for 2,800. I would actually probably rather have the patch autograph. However, I would probably say, oh, actually, no, that did sell recently, April.
Yeah,
that's a really good pickup.
Very good pickup for sure.
I would probably rather that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more card in that. That's got the rookie emblem.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see the back of the card, but I'm going to guess that's going to be game worn, considering the year of that, when things were actually game worn.
Back in the day.
All right, let's go to our next break. I can't believe we've just done 15 minutes on Kawhi Leonard. I think that has to be a record for you, comp this, talking about Kawhi Leonard.
Wouldn't be anyone talking about Kawhi.
Alrighty. Fast break trading cards. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. We appreciate it.
We do.
And you guys are doing a cracking job. Go down to 75 Tulip Street in Cheltenham. Actually,
they're doing such a cracking job. They're now open Thursdays.
You took the words out of my mouth. This is new news. They are now open Thursdays 12 till 6 and also Fridays, Saturday 9 till 5 and Sunday 10 till 4. I've got a funny feeling they've also extended their Saturday trading hours too, Al. So I don't remember it being 9 till 5. But if I'm wrong about that, guys, I'm sorry. I just need to pay attention a bit more. All right. The general scheme with fast break trading cards: good, friendly customer service, seats so you can sit down and just chill and watch a basketball game, singles boxes that are very well curated. You can sit there and flick through. They've got cabinets of higher end cards. They've also got sealed boxes. In the backside, you can check out Fanatics Authentic Memorabilia. If you are purchasing from John and Alvaro, you'll be getting legitimate autographs that are authorized by Fanatics. You can send off your grading to PSA and BGS. You can pre-order trading cards. Let's just do some random pricing checks. Let's go to sports trading card and basketball. Alrighty, here.
What are we looking at?
24.25 Mosaic Hobby Blaster box at $90. The Select Mega for $150. Actually, that's a really good price on that. I was looking at some of those for more than $200 the last week when I was pricing up some of my own stuff. Select Hobby for $750, and Optic Basketball, the hobby boxes for $800. So that has been very, very popular this year. The chase card out of that is the Downtown. Everything's been jumbled around this bit, and the winner this year has been Mosaic because they've got RPAs, they've got Logoman in it.
They got a lot. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
And also the Color Blast.
Yep.
And then in Optic, it is the Downtown. So yeah, a bit of a jumble around there. And of course, the boys did the NBL launch a couple of weekends ago with Leonard Copeland. They've got 24-25 Topps Finest hobby boxes for $300.
Yes.
Guys, thank you again for your great support. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us, and please keep up the great work. You are doing the hobby a favor.
They are. It's the community down there as well. So if you do get a chance to not only shop online but get into the store, it's an experience. It's great.
Alrighty, guys, we're back. Thanks so much for tuning in and sticking around. This next one is called All Time Cards. So, guys, if you are asking yourself, what is a card that it should be collected forever and it's not going to become, more popular or less popular, it's just going to be one of those cards that you should have in your collection, bookmark this to your list. This is the 2008 Topps Chrome Kobe Bryant. He is also being defended by LeBron James. It's a beautiful card. It's a horizontal card, which I'm not actually usually a fan of, but this card just works. The photography is beautiful. The artwork is fantastic. The example here that Card Ladder have found for us is the gold refractor number 250.
Yep.
PSA 10, which sold for $168,000 US.
Whew, 168,000 USD. That is a hell of a sale.
Hell of a sale. However, even if you pick up the base of this, if you pick up the refractor or the silver of this, even if you pick up one that's PSA 8 or PSA 6,
it's
hold on to that bad boy and just keep it safe, basically.
Yeah.
These cards are absolutely fantastic. I personally find this like an iconic card.
Yeah.
It's a modern iconic card. So if you're looking for something that is maybe different, it's not an RPA, it's not a case hit, something like that. This card just absolutely bangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really symbolic too, because it's like Kobe's like, you want to be the GOAT? Come get it. And he still can't reach it.
Yeah.
Probably can't now as he's getting older either, LeBron.
This next one I thought we'd talk about just after we had the 1-of-1 last week, which was the $12 million sale, which was the Jordan and Kobe. This is another Kobe 1-of-1.
Another Kobe.
I doubt that they had enough time to time this sale. So I think this is just a bit of a coincidence. But it is a Kobe 1-of-1. It's a National Treasures 8.5. It sold for $228,000. My question to you, Adam, is this good, bad, or are you just sort of indifferent about this sale?
That is a cool tag.
It's also 1-of-1 and on-card autograph.
Yeah. I mean, I would have just, because it's NT, I would have gathered on card, but that's I want to know what part of the tag with the Lakers. It's got it's a front and center Lakers logo, which is really cool. I like it. I don't know if the value's there, but
so in an ideal world, what do you think this should be worth?
Off the top of my head, because I mean I'm no pricing expert with this, but I don't know. Yeah, no, maybe $200K is the right the right price. Yeah, maybe $200K is the right ballpark to be in.
I think there's a part of me that's like, I wonder what the sales history of this card is, because I bet you it's gone on the same trajectory that last one went on, where it went for.
Wait, TTA KB. Let's see if that's on Card Ladder.
So just to refresh, it was 25,000, 170,000, and then 10.6 million, or 12.9 million with the buyer's premium, and that was in 11 years. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I reckon that card would have done the exact same trajectory, honestly, because I just think. So I think, like, for me, and this is probably where I'm at with Kobe collecting, is now a good time to buy, or have we missed the train? And, I've been saying that Kobe is one of the best buys in basketball. I feel like I've been saying this for at least a year now.
Yeah.
And I really need to almost like re-examine that, where it's like, well, actually, have we now just sort of missed the boat? So maybe what we could do, for that exercise, the obvious one to do for this is just go look at some more regular Kobe Bryant cards, like some lower end, but still, really nice cards.
Right. So just to give you an idea, I'm on Card Ladder at the moment, and I'm looking at Kobe's, and I'm looking at specifically, like I've gone from the high end down, and I'm trying to find something that's just in that ballpark. 2003 Exquisite limited logos around the 65K mark, numbered to 50.
Yeah,
and that's a patch auto.
What's the sales history on that ad? Can you see that?
The sales history? Let's go.
Because my problem with Exquisite is, like, I feel like those are out of sort of the average collector's reach at the moment.
2017, 3,500 to 2025, June, 66,000.
Okay, so that's
steady trend up, 34 in 2024, but no sales between. So it's 10x between 2017 and 2024.
Okay. So that's, for better or worse, that just fits into the same pattern that we were just talking about before.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I can't find actually something else lower end that I wanted to talk about. I was sort of hoping just to find like a regular
Oh, I can go back. I can
Because
try
there's
it.
exquisite stuff here, and then there's nothing else on Card Ladder that.
I can search by value, and then we can go out of the. Yeah, I'm in the tens of thousands at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
This is
It's wild, isn't it? All right.
Kobe. Yeah, Kobe is. There's a reason I'm not trying to add heaps to my Kobe PC.
So how about you do that, and I'll do the next card, and then if we can come back to you on the Kobe
Sure.
prices. So this next
I'm trying
card,
to find something a bit patch auto,
yeah,
but more in the under 10K range.
yeah. Let's say I was going to say to you 2K, but let's just do under 10. Otherwise, might be giving you an impossible task. All right, this next card is a 2023 Prism Steph Curry Gold. So these are numbered to 10. The PSA 9 just sold for $26,000. And this sale is nearly $20,000 more than the most recent PSA 10 copy, which was just $7,189. So whoever bought that PSA 10 in May of 24, you have just done yourself an absolute delicious deal there. I actually think this is a really good time for us now to go on to something else that's lower down in the run sheet, Ad.
Okay.
This will be the perfect little segue here, and we might end up doing a lot more time on this in a future episode. Like, I think this is something we could definitely do more of a deep dive into. This is from Adam Gray, who was basically just referencing a whole bunch of gem rate data, and what he was pulling up was the population counts of. He just picked 3 guys, so he picked Kobe's, LeBron's, and Steph Curry's, and so it's a universal pop count tool, which basically just looks at all the different grading companies and pulls all the numbers in together. So the total graded for Kobe is 64,000. The total graded for LeBron is 31. The total graded is Steph Curry at 9,000. And I think I'm just going to tell you my answer just like straight away, because I probably think that's just the easiest and the most fun way to look at this. And we had Ryan on from GemRate, maybe 1 or 2 years ago now, and he was like talking about Steph Curry in terms of like the sales for this guy, the population for this guy, and how popular he is. Like, all of this just doesn't weigh up. And basically he was saying he was the best buy in basketball. And I think when you see numbers like this, like, I'm not a maths genius, but that's easy to work out, isn't it? Like, you look at the population on this stuff, like 612 versus 19,000. And Steph Curry is high, but he's not that high. So maybe actually what we're starting to see now is the market on Steph Curry is moving. So that's like 2 really good examples of sales for Steph Curry where you kind of like, there's some good prices that he sold for, but then when a PSA 9 outsells the PSA 10 in just a 12-month period, like, that's a huge shift in the market.
Yeah. That's massive. It's huge. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that whole sort of Adam Gray gem rate story that's been presented there?
I think they're different eras of cards. So I think the numbers on the Steph stuff will change over time, but it's very there's a lot of data to work through. Yeah.
I think that number can change. And I also wondered too if that's like a popularity thing.
Yeah, because but you look at the gem rate numbers, right? Like, you see weekly who's put through. Michael Jordan every week is the most graded player.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So eventually
Kobe Bryant, LeBron. Yeah.
That goes up, right? And then Steph will follow suit when all the kids that have just started their first ever job that collect Steph Curry because they wanted to replicate him start grading cards when they're in their 20s rather than their teens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as they get older, that fan base will start grading cards.
100%.
Right? So a lot of the Jordan fans are middle-aged people now, so they can afford to go and to grade in sizable numbers. I mean, obviously grading prices have changed, but it's an affordability thing. Like, when you just start collecting or you're a teenager, you're not going to send a bulk lot of 100 things to get graded, are you?
Yeah.
Right. And that's
those days of
Steph Curry's
$20 grading, that's gone, man. Yeah.
Steph Curry's fan base aren't the middle-aged 90s MJ collectors. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not the guys in their 40s or 50s.
So I'm just trying to like map this out of my head. I'm an 80s baby, probably
early 2000s.
Like, probably LeBron or Kobe would, if I had to pick between the two, I don't know, probably LeBron I've watched more of, I suppose.
Okay.
So who are you saying is like people born in the year 2000s is Steph Curry?
I think 90s babies are going to be Kobe or LeBron, and then 2000s are going to be Steph. And they're barely, like, they're just turning 18 and getting jobs and things.
It's another 20 years before they start to heavily invest into Steph Curry is what you're trying to tell me.
It's another 10 to 15 years before you see the spike in Curry.
Yeah, right.
That's just a rough idea
Yeah,
based
no,
on.
that's a cool, fun projection. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying
Because
100%.
MJ, think about it, MJ was a decade or 12 years before Kobe, and then LeBron was 7 years after that.
Yeah.
So there are these gaps and the exposure to those players. So Steph Curry's got a long way to go before you get people like bulk submitting Steph stuff.
Speaking of LeBron, did you see that he got inducted into the Hall of Fame
He got
today
an orange jacket.
as part of the Redeem team? That's a
Yeah.
really strange little wrinkle where he's still currently in the NBA, but is also in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. That Redeem team deserves the accolade. I think it's sort of course corrected.
So
The USA basketball.
if the Redeem team is in, I'm assuming the Dream team is in.
It'd have to be. I wouldn't even assume it. It should be. If it's not, it is. It should be.
Let's go to a break. And while we're on break, I will try and
Do some research.
find this out. And we are back. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. Hope you're enjoying today's content.
We're into the final stretch.
This is the final stretch. Let's do this next one as a 2-second story. It is PJ Washington signed a 4-year, $90 million contract extension with the Mavs. I think my mind was a bit blown when I read this, and then I sort of had to remind myself that essentially the salary cap is going to double the next couple of years. So yes, $90 million is a lot of money, but it's like him getting paid $45 million a couple of years ago. So if you say it like that, you're kind of like, okay, well, that's not too bad. That's about $10 million a year. Okay, that's not too bad for PJ Washington. So that's actually probably a pretty good deal for him.
Yep.
Sorry, let me rephrase that for the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
So congrats on that. But at the same time, it just seems like an insane number. But we need to get used to this, man, because
there's going to be some insane numbers
that's right,
moving forward.
When people are getting paid $80 and $90 million per year, I think we're going to need to really, readjust our sort of thought process on this. All right, we have to do this just because we can. Population on this is 815. He's silver PSA 10 rookie. The last sold price on this was $10.50. Look, I'm too biased to chip in on this because I've bought some of this guy in the past thinking he was going to be pretty good. But at $10.50, it's not filling me full of joy. I think that card can only go up from this point.
Yes.
RIP if you bought that card for $285, though. I don't think you're going to be getting back your money anytime soon. Alrighty. This next segment. Sorry, actually, we need to talk about the Dream Team. Yes, they were inducted.
Yes.
To the US Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame. So they are in the Hall of Fame. Yes. Pulse of the hobby. Check the pulse of the hobby. Adam, I will start with you before we go to the listeners. How do you think the hobby is currently going at the moment?
How do I think the hobby's going? I think it's healthier than it's ever been. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's I can't. You can see it everywhere. Like, there are card shows. There are, there's local card shows. There's stuff happening on Whatnot, on eBay. Like, traffic. People are buying more than ever. The overall card hobby is being dominated by a bunch of pocket monsters, also known as Pokemon. But in our little niche, the sports cards are still insane.
Yeah.
Like, anyone that thinks the hobby's dead is just kidding themselves or trying to delude you down trying to lead you down the garden path, so to speak.
Or you've had a negative experience and that's what's influencing your opinion.
Sure. But you definitely got your head in the sand because the hobby is stronger than ever. There are, and I'll use the trade day at Fast Break Trading Cards the other week.
Use that as a measuring stick. That's kind of fun.
It's a great measuring stick. I was talking about doing trades with kids, trades with veterans, just showing cards off, talking about card stories. This is exactly what the hobby's about.
Yeah.
We're experiencing the hobby like never before. We've got more stories than ever. We've got more options for product than ever. We've got this big change that's coming. Topps coming back with, like, the Fanatics train has arrived.
Yeah.
At the station. Everybody get ready to get on board. There's some crazy stuff happening. I'm sure the hobby's in good hands. But Panini's done their job. We've got cards galore. Things are more accessible than ever. You can enjoy this hobby in so many different ways right now that I think you sort of if you are having a negative experience, there's a really easy way to engage with the community and turn that experience around.
Yeah. We've got a few listener responses on here. We'll start with Joe Fu. This postage reach for OzPost to USA is going to stop a ton of grading unless everything gets sent at $99 value. This will create a backlog potential rise in the value of graded items. No, this is not a problem. You just need to send through Fast Break Trading Cards. Lane Pierce with the hobby, they've worked all this stuff out. I think when the initial OzPost stuff was announced, I think there was a lot of concern around that. I think the OzPost thing is more about if you're selling on eBay to USA from Australia to USA, that is causing you lots of problems at the moment. Yeah. Andrew Suter Hewitt, with Panini about to finish their license, what's your all-time favorite Panini product ever released? So I had obviously time to think about this. I shortlisted it to Cornerstone 17-18 and 18-19, Mosaic 18-19, and Select Hobby every year. But I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's Select Hobby and Prism. Like it's just like that's the stuff that I engage with the most. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Mosaic's your it's like your product, isn't it?
I think it was the thing that I got back into properly got back into the. It was the thing that like dragged me back. I was already sort of dabbling and I was doing some stuff, and then that product came out, and I chased that really, really hard. Yeah. Greg Dolliver, how soon does it take Fanatics to release? Surely they have product lines and designs ready to go. So I think the answer to that is they'll be good to go on October the 1st. There's no indication that they won't be. I
think we need to reach out to our friends at Fast Break, because I reckon Alvaro and John might have some information they can share with us. Hopefully.
In terms of product lines and designs, well, I think the answer to that is already yes, and they've already done dry runs of that because they've released the unlicensed products already. So yes, that'll be good to go. Christos Carolus, will Topps change the design on the cards, or they continue releasing those monstrosities like Topps Chrome and Finest? My 3-year-old twins could have done a better job. Yeah, so I think this is a really tough one, because I think if you grew up in the Panini era, crossing over to a different product is going to be really challenging for you. And I think if you grew up in the Topps era where you're just like frothing for it to come back.
Yeah.
And, look, I think we can throw a lot of shade at Panini over the years for, the stuff they did or do, but they took a lot of artistic risks. And some of those risks were absolute home runs, and some of them were failures, like see Select Hobby inserts. But then other cards that they did, like the Downtowns and the Kabooms, like they were just like undefeated. And I think realistically, Topps Chrome is going to be borrowing from them at some point in the future.
Sure, there's some design stuff there that I think is definitely up for use, I guess. Look, to defend Topps, and I don't often, I'm a bit nitpicky about it, but we spoke about this a while back last year when Topps Chrome relaunched without a license. And it looked like crap. Yes. Not having the actual jersey stuff, not having the license was a very bodgy product. And I think bodgy is probably the most makeshift word I can come up with at the moment. Yeah. But I'm going to stick with what I said back then. Give them a chance when they've got the license, because they've got some templates out there. Yes, they're blank uniforms in the old product. The new product will be fully licensed and have all the bells and whistles, and they can use NBA backgrounds.
Yeah, I do wonder how much of that does influence your perception of the cards, but I kind of get what Christos is saying here. Like some of it's just like, for me, I find it a bit like when you go into a suburb and they haven't renovated their houses since the 80s, and you sort of see a whole line of like old houses. You're kind of like, oh, these just need a bit of a refresh. Like that's how I feel about the Topps Chrome. It's like, have they just rolled out experience? They just rolled out the same stuff from literally 20 years ago? Anyway,
that's fair. I just
James,
I do think I do think there is more coming.
Yeah, James Mann. Fanatics Topps are claiming to take over the license apparently on October the 1st. It appears we're about to see a wave of 24-25 Panini products in the next month. Silhouette, Prism Black, 101, Obsidian, Immaculate and Flawless, and Eminence. I find it hard to imagine all these are coming out in 5 weeks. Get prepared.
They're all coming out in 5 weeks.
If you imagine those, if you remember that gif where it's like the lady is opening her mouth and there's like all those sausages just like falling down onto her head. I'm sorry to make a crude joke, but literally this is what card collectors are going to be like
It's going to,
very, very shortly. Andrew Coe, how are box prices still so high when no one is signing? It's like no one knows exactly what to do or how to take these
yeah.
Topps autos. Even though they get the license, it still feels like a second-rate product because we're so used to Panini. Yeah, so I think the pricing is an interesting one because the pricing is literally dictated, obviously, by distribution and also the person who does it, but it's also dictated by supply and demand. So if it doesn't sell, they drop the prices. If it does sell, they jack it up. It's literally as simple as that. So a
They
lot
check
of
the
this,
pulse, yeah.
it is all done by demand. And so I think that's the answer to that question. I will say this, though, it's super interesting because it's like, yes, I would actually say for me, Panini has been more popular than I would have thought it would be, considering no one is signing in it. But what they've done this year, which has been so well, they've loaded it with numbered cards and case hits. So earlier in the show, we're talking about Optic having downtowns. Everyone wants to buy Optic because you can get a downtown. So that's how they hit a home run on that product. You don't need people signing in it because people love those case hits. So that's what they've done to do that. Yeah. Matthew Hull, I've got a real issue with the lack of collectors and collecting and the high increase of flippers. Now, I'm not against the flip. I am for the flip and I've done it myself. What I'm seeing and watching in all these groups is those who are following along the path of the big time content making flippers. This behavior always leads down the path of nefarious activity as well as people getting burnt with the eventual overinflation of the market. The US rise of gambling and everything else concerning as it is propping up the gambler's mentality. I want the collectors to have the largest voice in the hobby and as a whole make the right decisions and voice the hobby. Keep flipping and keep giving value to the card market as the best asset for anyone to get into now and for the future. Let's just not hype the flip to the point of losing the joy of collecting. Also, Luca is skinny. This is seriously messed up and has made me get a summer dad bod. I feel sick. All right, a little bit to unpack there, but I think that for me, the flip at the moment isn't there the way it was in COVID. And I think, for example, the easy way to explain this is go to Card Ladder, go to a card that's been out the last 5 years, and you will see the graph go up and you'll see the graph go down. So if you're currently flipping cards in a market where you can argue that the line is going downwards and still making a profit,
Yep.
I would actually say to you, like, hats off. Like, I think at the moment, particularly in NBA, and we've been talking about this in terms of like climate market. If you go to a card show, for example, the Hobby Hangout or Collect Fest or whatever it is, what is it? 80% of people are like doing Pokemon.
Yep.
And so,
yeah. I think that he's actually hit on a key point in his own post with it.
yeah.
But you continue. I'll
No, that's fine. You say what you
So
want to say.
I
Yeah.
have a big I used to be not anti-flip, but I felt like I'd get harassed by flippers. Like it was all flip, flip, flip. I'm like, can we just talk cards and maybe do like there wasn't the collecting aspect. It was the comps and flipping, and I think the nefarious activity being referred to is where things get toxic and we go from flippers to rippers. And I don't mean ripping product, I mean ripping people off.
Yeah,
And I
100%.
think flippers is the community we live in, and it's fine. When people have
Of running scams.
that's the thing. When
And that
people
fake Wemby that
conduct
was going around Hobby Hangout. Yeah.
if people are
Yeah.
flipping cards with honor and courtesy and respect, look, I get it. You want to make margin on each trade you do. You want to get more value, or you want to flip something, get rid of it so you can trade to something else. That's great. When it comes to scamming people, when it comes to selling fake cards, when it comes to ripping others off, that's the nefarious stuff that is bred from this I need to find an advantage and get ahead. That's not the collecting and being fair and reasonable. Your card's not always going to be the most valuable. Not everybody wants to trade with you, and you're not always going to get maximum value. That's what collecting is all about. You're not going to 10x every card you trade for. And I think the frustration is people are tempted by one little thing, putting a Panini sticker over a card, selling a fake card. It's only once, and that's the addiction mentality seeking it. I'm just going to do it the once and I get away with it once. I'm just going to do it another time.
Yeah,
there's
sure.
this
That's
ethical
like
thing. So
the Peter Georgie sort of thing, isn't it? It's
yeah,
like,
where
well,
it
other
goes
people do it. That's how I justify
when
my
you go from
behavior. Yeah.
flipping to ripping, and once again, I don't mean ripping product, I mean ripping people. If you go from flipping with people to ripping people, then you know you've crossed the line, and that's not good for our hobby.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I noticed in the Pokemon community is everybody collects differently, but everybody respects that everybody collects differently.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of honor and respect in that community. And the biggest thing I got at the trading day I went to the other day when I asked questions about Pokemon, collect however you feel good about collecting. Collect the things you want to collect. So if it's all about money, then maybe it's not the right spot for you.
Yeah, look, I think I think to a degree everyone will fit into the ecosystem. Like we had Oivan on last week, who's got 100 set lists that he's collecting. You know what I mean? So like, there's people out there doing it all.
But it's once you go down
Yeah, no, I see.
it's such a
Yeah.
Star Wars slippery slope,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
for
dark
sure.
side. But once you start doing things that are unethical to
Yeah.
gain an advantage,
Yeah.
you become part of the problem.
I'll just say this like closing thought on this to Maddie.
Yeah.
So Maddie was also talking about the social media influencer. The thing about that, Maddie, is that negativity is quite very good at getting clicks.
Oh, it's great at getting clicks.
So on socials, Maddie, you're getting clicks by complaining. And the other thing that actually people like talking about too is prospecting on cards. That content does well.
If we dramatize this segment as is the hobby dying, we'll get more clicks than
that's the thing. But I can tell you from experience, Matt, we don't get many clicks and we don't get a lot of traction because we just sort of talk about everyday sort of like, boring stuff in the hobby. And so like, I kind of get why people do it. That's my final thought on that.
The hype stuff.
Zebulon Candle, topic for you. What would happen to Caitlin Price if she got pregnant? Or you could just rephrase his question as, what if she strained her groin? So we've covered that in this episode already.
Wow. Okay.
Anthony Mill, what would Topps do differently, and have they learned anything from Panini Price products and distributions? No, they are just going to take exactly what Panini have done. Actually, they're not. They're just going to look at the end point and just sell it for that and just cut everyone out. That's actually what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And would they pay homage to the 2010-11 designs? I don't think they've changed the designs at all since 2010-11. David Ralph, how can we convince our significant others we are collecting physical assets? I actually have a direct answer for this. Google Mr. Wonderful buys $12.9 million card and then read that article to them.
Yeah, exactly right. Just to circle back quickly, because our friend the Boston Card Hunter actually made a comment about this, about our type of content going extinct. As far as the social media influencer stuff, this 30-second content is the way the world consumes content these days.
Yeah, and he said people that do content for an hour have got an ego problem.
Breed.
That we think wider people, that we've got an ego that people want to listen to us for an hour. That's what he said.
I think he was having a crack at sports cards nonsense, but anyway.
Bastard. Anyway. All right. Let's finish today's show on this.
With a Jordan?
Yeah, sure. We'll do a Jordan. Why not?
Is it a Jordan to close?
Yeah, we can do a Jordan to close. Let's do a Jordan to close. We have got...
Which one?
A 1997 Metal Universe Michael Jordan Platinum Portrait, BGS 9.5. This sold for $34,500. There was a Caitlin Clark Flawless at number to 5 that we talked about that sold for $30,000. So that's a direct comp. Would you like a Caitlin Clark or this Jordan?
I'll take the Jordan, thanks.
God, there's a part of me that actually wants the Caitlin Clark.
Cool.
I'm just a sucker for autograph and patches though. Like I just feel like there's more to it. Look, at the end of the day, this is probably the more valuable card, moving forward. And also David Ralph, this is the type of asset that you could show to your wife and say, this is a physical asset. Yeah. Look, I think for me, there's nothing really more to say about this card. It's just a froth piece. It's a beautiful piece of art. They've nailed the design. Congrats to all the people that picked them up for, $100 a few years ago. And now they're selling them for $34,000. Thank you, Adam. Thank you to our friends at Central Coast Radio. Thank you to all of our listeners who are out there. We will catch you all next week.
We'll see you next week. Enjoy the week ahead.